Are ecoATMs still worth it in 2025? If you don't know, ecoATM was founded in 2008 and they serve a useful service by allowing you to sell your phone fast through ATM-sized machines placed in department stores and shopping malls across the country. While selling your phone privately may ultimately get you more money, it also requires a lot of time and effort in finding a buyer, and this can just all be pushed away. But is ecoATM the best method of selling your phone fast? That's what we sought to find out. So we took a trip to our local Walmart in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and brought a few different devices, some in great shape and some broken, to see what the ecoATM experience is really like. The ecoATM starts by explaining the basics of the process to you, and that you have to have an ID present in order to sell the device. Once you get past this, it's going to ask you a ton of questions about the device. To start, it asks if you have it on you in the first place and what type of device you want to sell. The only options being a phone or foldable phone, tablet, or an MP3 player. In our case, we brought a Galaxy S22 Plus, which we think should get us a good amount of money, being a fairly new phone and in great condition with nothing broken. Which leads to the next question, where the machine asks if the phone can be powered on, if it charges, or if the screen doesn't respond. Then it wants to know what brand of device we brought, and from there it will give us a little label. We also liked the label trash slot, where you can throw the paper that the label's attached to in, or the label if you chose not to sell your device. It then asks what type of cable your device uses, which to someone not very tech savvy, along with even some of the other questions, does make this process a little more difficult. You do need to know a lot of info yourself beforehand when using this machine. It can't just figure it all out for you. At this point, we pressed the I don't know button, thinking we could just show you the process if you were, say, a non-tech savvy person, but it pretty much just says they don't know either, and they would rather evaluate it as a no power phone, and you'd get a lot less for it. So we went back through the whole process again and just tapped type C so we can move forward. From this point, just agree to the terms and conditions, and after a little bit of lag, the machine door opens and we can put our phone in. We fiddled around for a little bit, trying to get the phone laid out correctly and making sure the phone was plugged in securely. The door then closes and we await, which pretty much just consisted of answering a couple of survey questions on their screen, twiddling our thumbs, and looking around the machine. We did like these little fun facts though that came up every now and then, but at last it gave us our estimate. The machine recognized the phone powered on, screen lit up, and had no cracks or scratches on it, so it offered us $85, which wasn't what we were hoping for, and we decided to just keep the phone. Additionally, they let you lock in on the price, so if the value of this phone were to go down to say $75 in the next week, anyone else would get that price, but you would still get that $85 you were promised, which is pretty cool. Lets you have a little bit of peace of mind as you shop around and look at your options. From this point, we won't bore you with the whole process unless there's anything major, but we have a few other phones we thought we'd test out and see what the ecoATM would give us for them. The next phone we tested was an iPhone SE second generation from 2020. These phones are really good for people who love the old style of iPhones but need to be able to keep it up to date and use all of their apps. The one we're using is not actually broken at all, so we're hoping for a decent price on it. We went through virtually the same process as before, but we did notice the iPhone took significantly longer than the Samsung once the door was closed and the machine was testing it. Finally, it did come through with a price of $33, which wasn't terrible, and if you could get away with selling a broken one of these without the machine noticing, more on that later, you might find it to be pretty good. But for us, it's definitely going to be not enough for us, and we decided to keep it. Next, we did a Galaxy Note 10 Plus. We didn't have our hopes massively high on the price for this one, being a couple years older than the phones that we've already done thus far, but it didn't take very long for us to find out the price was the least of our problems. After putting the sticker on, we tried to sign up for emails through the machine, being one of the prompts that you get before you finish, and as soon as we clicked that, the machine froze and wouldn't let us select anything or interact with it in any way. After a bit of waiting, it finally just opened the door for us to grab the phone. It claimed it didn't see the label on our device, which in our case we thought was just operator error. This phone had another sticker on the back with some IMEI information, so we put the machine sticker on top of this one instead so the machine wouldn't see it and get confused. And we went through the whole process again, but this time the machine was not detecting the charging cord in the phone correctly at all. After a long time of fiddling around, we could not get the machine to accept the device, even though the charging port was working perfectly fine anywhere else, so it was time to call it quits. The The next thing we wanted to test was a broken device, and we brought an iPad 9 with Wi-Fi and cellular. In case you're wondering, the process is no different for tablets, and funnily enough, the machine never actually asks if it's broken, just if it powers on, charges, and if the screen works. We went through the process, and the ecoATM offered us $50 for it. Additionally, it did not pick up the pretty hefty cracks on the device at all, saying it had no cracks or scratches. There are many cases where this could be useful, as iPad screens are not fun or cheap to fix in all honesty. Still, we kept this device, but thought it was pretty interesting it didn't detect anything being broken on it. Now for something a little more fun. We brought an Iris Easy Flip, which is a flip phone from Consumer Cellular.
It looks like just some old kind of flip phone, but it was actually released in May of 2024.
It even has a USB Type-C port, making it quite fancy for a flip phone. The process was pretty similar, and it actually scanned this one and gave us a price incredibly fast, but not the price we thought we were going to get. We thought this was going to be a good point to talk about how the machine is great for recycling devices, so batteries and technological waste don't rot in landfills, a service that we think ecoATM is really awesome for, and we do, but it actually recognized the device as a budget smartphone called a BlueView 2 and offered us $1 for it. Being so surprised, we decided to sell it for this so we can show you the selling process, which is pretty simple. It asks if you want it in cash, Venmo, or PayPal, and I like it a lot that you're able to get this money virtually if you wanted to. Then it has to show your ID and take a little photo op proving your identity, and finally it just makes sure you don't want to sell anything else through it while you're getting your cash. And after a little bit of a wait, we got paid our beautiful $1 bill for this BlueView 2. Next up, we decided to see what would happen if we tried to sell a device without a screen, a pair of AirPod Pros. We put it in as a phone, and there's not really a great option to select, but we put a label on it like normal, but didn't plug it in as the machine just was having problems when we tried to do that. After scanning it, the machine did recognize that they were AirPods, but it told us they don't take them yet, so it's a bust on these, but the yet is the key word. Who knows how much they'll give for these maybe in 2026. Finally, we did a test of trust with the machine. The iPhone 5C we brought was not charged, and we wanted to see if the machine would charge our device for a while we walked around the store. So we plugged it in and went shopping. After about 20 minutes or so, we wrapped up and checked the machine, where we found the door had closed. Did someone steal our phone? No. The machine was just timed out for a bit and closed the door, making it pretty nice for protection, I guess. So we went through the process again to see if maybe it was all charged up, but weirdly the charger actually pulled away and disconnected itself. So no, you cannot charge your phone while you're shopping, maybe while you stand there and keep interacting with the machine so it doesn't time out, but honestly, who knows how well that cord works as a charger anyways. From here, I will let Kyle wrap up this video and give you our conclusions, and I sincerely hope you enjoyed.
All right, so here's what we learned in conclusion. So if you're selling a phone or a tablet, it's good and convenient. You're not gonna get the highest offer. You're not gonna get the most bang for your buck, but you are able to sell it right away for cash and get an instant cash offer with no human contact, which is really nice. The downside is you can't sell all kinds of devices, right? We couldn't sell our AirPods. And it didn't really recognize some of the phone models, like the flip model that we sold very well. And you also can't sell other things, right? Like an Apple Watch that I'm wearing. There would be no way to plug this in and sell this. So you're kind of limited on the devices that you're able to sell. But all in all, it's a really good option for someone that just wants to get rid of phones and get quick money really fast. If you want to learn more about how electronics are sold online, visit our socials to see how individuals and businesses sell tech to us online. If you want to learn how to turn your electronics into cash, visit us on smartphonesplus.com.